like your head back a little, you're coming forward again. But you could do that if you want to. Okay, so I'm gonna stop and start.
Yeah.
That is loud.
It is? Why is it making that sound?
Probably because it's cranked up. Turn it down. It's like really high up. Is that how you turn it down?
Yes. Oh, in that room it is. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Lachlan's behind the camera.
Hey everybody.
I'm Madison, and if you haven't been to our channel before, since this is only our third video, I just wanted to share with you why we have our channel. So basically, we're just here to talk about issues and topics that are a little bit heavy, but in a lighthearted way, and help the people of the world, just like you and me, just kind of approach life with a more fun and like comedy kind of way. These things have made Lachlan and I better people, so we just wanted to share them with you guys and help you understand that it doesn't have to be so serious all the time. You can learn and live your life in a lighthearted way and still, you know, grow as a person.
And it doesn't need to be as stressful.
One of the main reasons that we decided to do a YouTube channel is because we were running into life problems like everybody on earth does, and realizing that it's kind of a cope or grow situation. So if you're not taking your situations in, processing them, and then growing, you're just in a constant state of coping with life, and that will just pile up on top of you.
Yeah, like enough layers.
Yeah, once enough layers pile up, it just kind of fossilizes, and that's where like the you can't teach old dogs new tricks comes from. We realized that if we can share some of our growing, like you could call them growing mechanisms, we realized we could share our growing mechanisms with other people, then that's kind of where that passion sparked for our YouTube channel. So that's why we're here. We wanted to make information and guidance a little bit more fun and easy for people to understand, because actually applying them is difficult and it takes work, but learning them from somebody else is a little bit easier, so, or it can be made a little bit easier. We realize that there's not enough information out there for people to access, where you're going on a journey of growth and self-betterment with the people on the YouTube channels. Normally they're just kind of flexing like their growth and what they do, but they're not making it easy or accessible for people, or it's sometimes, in some cases, it's fake. People are faking their growth, self-betterment, their diets, their exercise, and all of these things to make you want to be like them, so that you become sort of addicted to watching them grow and change and become better people and that's you kind of living through them, but you never actually learn how they're doing these things for themselves, if they are actually doing these things for themselves at all. We just wanted to make this channel because we want to make these lessons, this journey of self-betterment for us and for you, a journey that we can do together and interactive with each other, and just kind of fun and playful and not always so serious. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about intuition, gut feelings, and all of that awesome fun stuff. All of these cliches that people say about
trust your intuition, follow your gut, just listen to yourself, you know the way.
So that's great. That is, that's fantastic. That's a great skill that lots of us use from childhood, and those of us who have strong roots in who we are definitely should be listening to their intuition and following their gut. However, something that I've run into in my life is realizing that if you're not in alignment with who you are as a person, or congruent with yourself, then your gut is going to be lying to you. Let's pretend that that you need to go on a really long journey across the country. And it's very important that you get to that destination at the right time, on the right day, and you can't take any wrong turns, detours, or anything like that. But the problem is that the car you're taking has been mistreated, overused, not repaired, and you just can't really trust the car. It's a car that's not reliable, right? So that's like your intuition or your gut. When you know that you've been under influences you can't control and you're not taking care of yourself the best that you can, you're having a bad day, or if you haven't been doing enough self-care, if you haven't been true to yourself, then your gut feelings and your intuition aren't going to take you to where you need to go. What you're actually speaking to is surroundings and your influences that are in your life that you might not realize or know about. You can't necessarily trust your gut or your intuition when you know that you're being influenced by outside factors that might not be influencing you in a healthy way or under your full control. So when your brain is being impacted by all of these different outside factors, you're not going to be able to actually get in touch with your true self or your true intuition. So that's why following your gut doesn't always work, or might not always work to your benefit. When we think about a person who's aligned or in touch with their intuition, we think about like a monk on a mountaintop, or somebody who's hidden away, isolated in the forest, right? But these types of people have usually transcended their individuality. So they are not searching for self. They're actually just searching for awareness and becoming one with the universe as much as they possibly can.
By
removing themselves from society, from regular daily activities. They have a routine, and if something strays away from the routine, they meditate and they think about only just why is something happening, or accepting something that's happening in their daily routine. And there's so little stimulus that there's nothing affecting their psyche, so they can get in touch with their intuition and their gut feelings a lot easier. There's not many high stakes decisions that a monk on a mountaintop would need to make, whereas the everyday person may have to make at least one high stake decision a week. High stakes to their mental well-being, or a monk doesn't even have to decide what clothes to wear. They don't often have to think about like the weather or what food they're eating. Their food is prepared, their clothes are laid out already, their schedule's laid out for them, so they don't have to think about any of that stuff. And I'm talking about monks right now is because you have to remove that comparison from your brain when you're thinking about your intuition or your self-awareness versus, you know, a yogi or somebody who says that they're on the path to self-actualization, because a lot of the time these people go to extremes, right? Like minimalism, like people shave off their eyebrows so they don't even have to think about like the hair on their face, right? But that's not realistic to compare yourself to these people, because you're just, me and you are just everyday people, right? So just trying to grow and be as strong as we can be in day-to-day life while also becoming self-aware, right? Because we're not forfeiting our individuality by any means. If you're finding that, my voice just cracked. If you're finding that you're trying to follow the advice of, you know, somebody online, an influencer, a yogi of some kind in your life, or anything like that, that is trying to apply these Buddhist principles, which are great principles for some people, but you're taking an application that people are using in a very different way of life and trying to apply it to the life that is almost a complete contradiction, right, from where these teachings come from. So if you're not ever going to feel alignment if you're trying to take teachings from a place that isn't meant to be applied to your life. Speaking to the fact that we are permeable human beings that are easily influenced or dominated by our outside factors. And this is kind of a cliche, but it is definitely 100% true, and it's a psychological fact. You are the sum of the 5 people that are closest to you, that you spend your most time with. So that is another reason why you have to question your intuition and question your gut, because if you're not surrounding yourself with people who are gonna help you get into alignment, and you guys have a relationship that might not be the healthiest on a big scale, on like a really real world scale, that Lachlan knows or has a family friend. Lachlan has a family friend that was just out one night having a good time. He's a big friendly giant, right? And people always want to pick fights with big guys. So a guy in the bar tried to pick a fight with him and he just brushed him off. And then when he went to leave the bar that night, the same guy was outside and the big friendly giant pushed the guy off of him because he didn't want to fight him, right? So he shoved him away, and the guy fell and hit his head on the curb and he passed away. Somebody who is a big friendly giant can, end up in prison by faults that are not his own, and have to survive and fend for his life, right? And do things that he would not otherwise do in order to survive the prison time. But as a result of that, you don't come out the same person that you were before, and you can't find your place in society. Regardless of how good of a person you are, when you're in an environment that is not promoting healthy growth and change,
Promoting the opposite, yeah.
but promoting the opposite. So somebody like a big friendly giant going into prison has to adapt to survive and take the surroundings in that are his new environment and change, because that's the best way you can survive. So it's really difficult to come out of that environment and go back to the way things were, go back to your regular surroundings and the people that you were with before you went into jail, because you're not the same type of person that you were coming out as you were going in. When this big friendly giant came out of prison, he was finding it impossible to cope with just regular life outside of prison. And as a result of this, he decided that he wanted to put himself back in prison. So he found the house of the police officer who prosecuted him and blew up his house. Not with him in it or anything, like nobody was hurt. So the point of the story is the consequence of being in prison for so long and changing your environment and the people that you're around for such an extended period of time shows that the new alignment of this good and big friendly person had changed, and they felt that it was right to blow up somebody's home, right? Whereas before prison, a man who spent his life helping people and helping animals and loving children and just spending his life just being a good person and doing the right thing, just one bad mistake, being put into a situation where he's forced to change and cope with his new environment, can change a person who's such a good and wholesome person into a criminal, into somebody who is the complete opposite of the person that they once were. Just proves and just shows you how the environment and the type of people that you're surrounding yourself with can really change your decision making and who you are as a person. Okay. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to mention about prison is like prison in Northern Europe, right? Prisons in Northern Europe are set up to promote growth and rehabilitate people who go in. So people often come out better than they do going in because they have built their prison systems around rehabilitating and building up criminals to become functioning members of society and good people. So that's the difference, right? Between putting yourself, say, in a situation with bad friends or bad people or people that don't help you grow as a person, or putting yourself in situations with people who want you to grow and change and be a healthier human being. So unlike a prisoner, you're not trapped, right? You can choose who you surround yourself with. You can choose the type of environment that you are living in. You can move away from your current social circle and your current environment. Say you move from the city to the country. That might seem like a big thing, right? Picking up, uprooting your life and moving, but that actually might be what the springboard that you need to grow and become a better person, is to drastically change your environment to become more aligned with who you are. When you do remove yourself from your environment, the people who are around you will understand. If they really care about you, they'll see that what you're doing is for the betterment of yourself and for your mental health and for you to grow as a person, and they will cheer you on. Somebody who will question you in a negative way or bring you down, those are the exact types of people that you're trying to remove yourself from. Those types of people, those are the types of people that are holding you back from growing, and you'll start to see who they are. Like, you'll start to see who's who very quickly. So you'll understand that people who have always been there for you and not ever taken anything from who you are, versus the people who, you know, you might be using each other. It might be a little circle that you guys have where, you know, you do your negative habits together and whatever. Those are the types of people who might like push back and do a little bit more backlash because they want to keep those addictions like going, right? They don't want to stop what they're doing, and they don't want to see what they're doing as negative because they're not ready to change. Because you changing reflects on them. Why aren't they changing? What is wrong with what they're doing? And it's putting them through some thoughts that they might not be ready to have. And just that exercise in itself, just like removing yourself from your social circle and seeing who's who, and it is a good exercise just to see who is not good for you and who's good for you, and who will support you and who's always supported you, and somebody who you thought was supporting you, but really you guys just had the same negative habits and you just like have fun doing them together. You don't need those people anymore. But when you do choose to move away, just realize that like all you have to really do is just take some of your saved money and just move away for a few months, right? 2 or 3 months. You may not be in the nicest home or in the nicest apartment or room wherever you're staying. You might not love your job. Like, you might not go, but you're not going to be prestigious. You're not going to, you know, have this amazing life. You're going to really apply yourself to self-betterment and becoming the best version of yourself. And the biggest commitment, the biggest change you're making is the change that you're doing in yourself. So just, you know, get a part-time job that you can support yourself with, and spend time in your favorite hiking trails. Spend your spare time doing things that are healthy, new habits that you're forming, right? And spend that time committing to yourself. If you're looking for examples of things you can do while you're alone, you can go to the first video we did. So that's got tons of ideas about methods and healthy habits that you can start forming, and you don't need other people for that. You can do that alone, and I would recommend you do them alone. So when you're separating yourself from your regular everyday relationships and environment, you're likely to find the reasons why you're having trouble growing or aligning, right? So you're going to untie some of these knots that you might have that you didn't know. You can discover them because you're giving yourself the space to think about your issues, to think about why you haven't been able to grow in the places that you were before, and also the reasons why you're seeking your negative habits or the things that might be harming you or inhibiting you to become the best version of yourself. Doing this type of process can't hurt you, right? So testing these things out, seeing if it does make you a better person, it's either going to make you a better person or you're going to be back where you started. It can't really affect you negatively, right? You're only going to learn from this type of experience. So really, like, you're not losing anything. The best thing that you can do for yourself is to try out these methods, try to form healthy habits, and go inside and correct that inner self and come into alignment so that you can use that inner compass to make decisions for yourself in the rest of your life. So I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope that you got lots of value from this video and you can start applying some healthy habits from our second video to your life right away and start changing and aligning with who you are. We're putting out content every Sunday. I've decided I'm committed to Sundays. So I just want to remind you guys that in today's day and age, we have the choice to do whatever we need to do. We can choose to make ourselves who we want to be, and you can choose to accumulate the tools to be the best version of yourself and live the life that you really believe in and lead a life that you can be proud of. And be the type of person that is enriching the world with who you are and not taking but giving. I hope that you got lots of value from this video, and just remember that if you did, share it with a friend, drop a like and subscribe, because we're going to be putting out lots of good videos around the topic of self-betterment, self-improvement, and we're going to put out a lot of videos you guys can really use and apply. And just remember, your life is here to enjoy, and you can make whatever you want out of it. So just enjoy it, and it doesn't have to be so serious. You know, we're here to have fun, we're here to learn, and we can do it together.